Sorry to interrupt you there, Cathal. Your mic's muted there.
Oh, I thought I unmuted it.
Perfect.
I thought I unmuted it. You're all very welcome again. We'll try that again. You're all very welcome to our inaugural game day of 2022. The microphone automatically mutes when the video plays, so I thought I pressed the button, got straight into it, and didn't actually look. So rule number one: trust but verify. What we're going to do in today's webinar is 2022. So for the past number of years, we have had, hopefully you can hear me now, Daniela. For the past couple of years, we've had unknown after unknown after unknown when it came to digital marketing. As a digital marketer, you're expected to kind of be able to forecast somewhat into the future, at least forecast your year or your quarter. And we never knew what was going on with COVID in 2020. And then towards the end of 2021, a certain level of kind of familiarity returned to being a digital marketer, where, we had a good Cyber Monday, a good Black Friday, decent kind of holiday Christmas season, all of that stuff. So 2022 is the return to normality. So what I'm really interested in chatting to you guys about, and you might just pop it into the chat, is are you planning 2022 with a bit more confidence than your other past 2 years, for example? Now, the reason I'm saying this is because we know that Valentine's Day is happening on the 14th of February. We know that in May, June, July, that would typically be taken up by holiday travel. And a lot of people spend their money, their wages, their disposable income on vacations and holidays and all of that stuff in the early summer, just as the schools finish and just because they want to get away from, the kind of the humdrum of day-to-day life. Last year, we noticed that fewer people were traveling in May to July, and that money was not diverted into retail. Now, what I mean by that is usually you have a bunch of money that you can spend. Your consumers have a bunch of money they can spend on things. They can spend it on, on products they want to buy, services they want to avail of, or things like holidays. When they don't spend on one thing, they typically spend on another thing. There was a big gap last year. It was huge, absolutely huge, across all industries, where between May, June, and July, everything went down, because that would usually be the time that people would travel. And it didn't get diverted into retail. People didn't start spending their holiday budget on other things. They just didn't spend it at all. Then in Q3, Q4, things got different. Things got better again, much better again. We had a great Black Friday. We had a great Cyber Monday. The lead into the holiday season, and Christmas was good, and January sales also good. So pretty much from the end of October until now, we are seeing a normal year, a normal retail, digital marketing, e-commerce, whatever it is, kind of year. So what I want to hear from everyone, and maybe you'll just pop it in the chat, is, are you experiencing what looks to be a normal year in your digital marketing activity? Does there seem to be a return to normality in 2022 in the first couple of weeks that you have been doing your digital marketing activity? Is there anything that, you kind of went, well, this looks a bit more stable? Because when you see a sense of normality return, we need to start planning now. We need to start planning. Well, actually, we really need to start planning in December. But look, it's so Desiree is saying that, and it's a good point. Trying to be flexible in planning, because the COVID situation is still fluid, but it is looking better than last year in digital. So I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I don't want to be too committal towards all of the planning, but at the same time, it's good to have. From what I've kind of looked at the numbers from my own clients, from kind of benchmarks, is it appears that we're returning to normality. So it will be more like a kind of combination of 2021 and 2019. It won't be like 2020. 2020 was a disaster. No one knew what was going on. COVID was everywhere. There was lockdowns, there was hard lockdowns, there was travel bans, there was all of these different things. That didn't occur in 2021, towards the end of 2021. And 2022 appears to be a bit more open, despite the fluid nature of COVID. So what I would say is we know that there's certain things that are definites. There's certain things that we used to be able to bank on within our own industry. Certain seasonality fluxes, peaks, troughs. We should start planning that they're probably going to happen again. They're probably going to happen again, as they did in 2019, but at probably a slightly lower level. A slightly lower level. Interesting input there from Kwesi, who says that blockchain and cryptocurrency could be potentially integrated within digital marketing activities in the future. It's one of those things that's still a little bit unstable right now. While I think it probably will, I know certain states within the United States have legalized currency. Sometimes these ideas seem like good ideas at the start, but they have second order effects that can limit how effective they are. And one of those second order effects of cryptocurrencies and blockchain is sometimes there's banking fees or transactional fees to turn that cryptocurrency into cash or normal currency. So it's just to be mindful of any kind of second order effects of crypto for it. But so my goal for today is to kind of hopefully reinforce everyone. You can take a deep breath. We are hopefully returning to a sense of lower level stability. It's not going to be 2019 or 18 or 17. It's going to be more like a mix of 2019, 2021, but not as bad as 2022. So Andrea is saying we got an idea how to make the best out of. Now that's a fantastic way to look at it. Andrea is saying we found ways to get the best out of the situation when it comes to digital marketing. So digital didn't shut down. We didn't have the difficulties around bricks and mortar. We didn't have the difficulties around kind of going to places and being there in person. So we were able to very quickly, and because it's so non-committal, when it's your Facebook ads, your LinkedIn ads, your Google ads, whatever it is, you can turn campaigns on and off, change the messaging, all that stuff. So it's very easy to be agile with digital. But Andrea has made a fantastic point, which really is they figured out how to make the best of their digital marketing within the constraints of COVID and what that brings. So, and Josiah is also saying, I'm curious to see how it's gone, because it was 90% virtual, and we did experience growth. It's just sometimes there was a curveball. What I noticed was I'd be expecting something to happen in, say, September, and it didn't, because there was a Delta variant outbreak or something like that. So there was all these kind of curveballs that knocked my expectations, not totally off track, but a little bit off track, and through Agile, we were able to kind of bring it back. But this year, I'm really feeling that like we are going to be less knockable off track. There will be fewer curveballs. Now, I don't know, there could be some kind of space COVID or something like that could really kind of, like knock it out of the park. But I'm really hopeful that based on Q4 and the early stages of Q1, it looks really familiar. The patterns remind me of the patterns I seen in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 2018, and 2019, but just at a slightly lower level, So there is, by the way, for everyone, because we are wonderful friends of the internet, you can win a track by signing up on the link that is in all of your feeds. So within YouTube, within the link you're watching on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn or whatever channels you happen to be watching off, there is a link to a competition where you can win a DMI track. And this is just something that's after popping up the feed. So the DMI tracks are short courses. They're like 6-7 hours long. There's one on e-commerce, there's one on pay-per-click, there's one on SEO, there's one on social media. You can win one of these tracks. Just enter your details into the link within the platform that you are watching this video on. There's a little bit.ly link there, and you can enter the details. So Ioannis is talking about the metaverse for marketing. So the reason people aren't fully talking about the metaverse for marketing is no one quite knows where it is just yet. It's still only in its infancy. I think the metaverse, as Mark Zuckerberg envisages it, as a 3D place where you're wearing an Oculus Rift kind of like virtual reality thing, where you've created your own avatar, where there's certain worlds that kind of have been curated by brands, and that will happen. So the root of the metaverse right now can be seen in things like Minecraft, can be seen in things like big online RPGs or any of that stuff, where you've heard of direct to consumer. I've only heard about this recently. There's direct to consumer sales, so a brand sells directly to a consumer. There's business to business sales, where a company sells directly to a business. Now there's B2A selling or D2A selling, which is selling direct to avatar, where an avatar is for anyone who doesn't know, is a kind of an ideal of your best self, an ideal of your best self. So it's your virtual reality self in Minecraft, in the metaverse, or whatever it is. Nike are going to be selling products virtually in the metaverse that you can buy only for your avatar. So they're going to be selling like sneakers or trainers or runners or whatever you want to call them, that you'll have to pay for, but can be only worn by an avatar. You don't get them. You don't get this stuff. So it could get a bit freaky if it ends up like the Matrix. But as Emmanuel has said, digital marketing is about to get integrated every part of your connections, brand communications with Web 3.0 and the metaverse. So it is that immersive feel where you're going through like inconceivably different web experiences than a flat page that you need a mouse to click on or to tap on your phone. That's all gone out the window. Now you're actually in a place. The flat web page of text and images and all that stuff will be quite different. It could get a bit freaky, but I think marketing in the metaverse is still in its infancy. And if we want to see where it's going, we need to look in two places. That is online gaming. So as I said, Minecraft, places like that, and over in the Eastern markets in China and in places like, mainly in China, in Taiwan and all that, where they have a lot of loyalty programs built around gaming. So when you use WeChat, which is like WhatsApp. When you use WeChat, which is like WhatsApp, there's games built into that, and the more you play those games, the more rewards you can get from the owners of those games. So if like Nike has a game on WeChat, you play this game on Nike, you're engaging with the Nike brand, you can win bonus points, which you can redeem as coupons against your next purchases. So that's kind of where the metaverse will probably end up go. So Crazy probably knows a little bit more about blockchain than I do. So reckons it's on blockchain. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a coder myself, so I don't quite know too much about that. The future of digital marketing. Well, one of my favorite subjects. Is it going to take away our certificates? No, it is not. The skill of a digital marketer is to use the machine learning capabilities of tools like Facebook, of Google Ads, of all of that stuff to deliver on business goals. So I use a combination of, when I do paid search, for example, I use a combination of manual bidding strategies, so manual paid search stuff, and automated bidding strategies. What I do is I set up my audience targeting and my keyword targeting, my keyword lists, my ad groups, and all of that stuff to reflect what's the one thing that I can control when it comes to digital marketing. The one thing that you can always control when it comes to digital marketing is how much you're spending each day. So what you need to do is we need to shift our mindsets from marketers to investment strategists. We are investing €5,000 of budget into Google Ads because we believe we're going to get €25,000 back in e-commerce revenue or in leads value or sales or whatever it is. So AI and all of that stuff helps us, kind of reach audiences for reach the audiences we want to reach. But what we need to understand is, how much do I spend on that audience? Our goal is going to be audience evaluation, keyword evaluation, and then measuring that against revenue outcomes. So we literally become investment strategists, that we are investing in the right channels, in the right keywords, in the right campaigns, to a level that gives us the return we want. Because with digital marketing, it drives a lot of sales, it drives a lot of revenue, it drives a lot of leads. So the AI helps us reach audiences, but you need to decide. Like, Google can never raid your bank account. Our goal becomes, how can I set my campaigns up in such a way that I reach the audiences and I decide how much I invest in each of those audiences. Ultimately, how much do I hand over to Google in a month to use their AI, to use their stuff? So that's where it's going. It's the mindset has to be shifted from, I am like manually reaching audiences. I am now investing in certain audiences with an expected return. And that brings us nicely to your second part of the question, which is lifetime value. So when you understand your audience cohorts, when you understand your Facebook cohorts, the different audiences on Facebook, in terms of when you target an audience on Facebook or Instagram, what do you get in return for that? You've spent €5,000 on Facebook. What did you get in return? That becomes the value of that audience, and then you can scale. When it comes to keywords, how much do you invest in different individual keywords? What keyword strategies are you using in Google Ads to give you the best results? All the AI does is assist you in reaching audiences more precisely. What we need to do is test all these different strategies to ultimately define the audiences, and then come up with an investment strategy where we go, right, audience A, they're going to get €2,000 per month. Audience B, they're going to get €500 per month. Audience C, I'm not going to target them because they're rubbish. Audience D, they're going to get whatever. And you're investing in each of those audiences, harnessing the AI to reach those audiences effectively. But the mindset is, how much am I putting in versus what I expect to get in return? So that's really where digital marketing is going, because it has a cost. Google can't change that. Facebook can't change. We decide how much we spend. So set up your campaigns in Google, in Facebook, in Instagram, all that stuff, to reflect how you're going to spend. Create campaigns for your high value customers. Create campaigns for your low value customers. Invest more in the campaigns for your high value customers, than your low value customers. That's where it's going. AI is just an assistant. It's definitely not going to take over the role. Okay, my Google's talking to me. Hey Google, stop singing. Must have heard me saying Google a bunch of times. When will the courses be updated to the newest version of GA? So I'm kind of going through GA at the moment. So for everyone who doesn't know, Google Analytics 4 was launched in October 2020. it is the latest iteration of Google Analytics. It's a totally different version of Google Analytics. I'll give you a quick demo now of what it looks like. So there is a free version of Google Analytics 4, which everyone can sign up for. So I'm just going to share my screen, and this is Google Analytics 4. If you do a Google search for Google Analytics demo account, do Google search for Google Analytics demo account, you can see it here, and I click on this first link, scroll down a little bit, you can access the new Google Analytics 4 demo account, okay, which is what this looks like. I'll just give you a quick run through, Aubrey, so you can see what it is. So our acquisition area is how our customers got to our site. We've got two acquisition areas that we're mainly interested in. That is user acquisition. This is where did people come from, and then so organic search, direct display, and then traffic acquisition, or what are the channels. My preference is traffic acquisition. Okay, so I can change this to default channel grouping, just like it was in normal Google Analytics. We can see our different channels. The difference between this Google Analytics and the last Google Analytics is really built around one single metric, and that metric is users. In the previous version of Google Analytics, a user is a unique visitor. But what the previous version of Google Analytics mainly measured was sessions. That's how many hits someone goes on your site. So you might have 100 users, but you might have 160 sessions. 160 sessions is 160 visits, but you only had 100 unique people. So a couple of them visits numbers of times. So this is all about unique visits now. We're moving away from multiple visits, tracking that as a metric. It's also built on machine learning, because as we move to a cookieless world, we need to get away from the traditional version of Google Analytics. You can still access the traditional version of Google Analytics in the demo account. So in the demo account, you can still do it. But if you want to get a bit familiar with GA4 on a fully functional e-commerce store, you can use the merchandise store Google Analytics. It's free. As I said, do a Google search for Google Analytics demo account, and with your Gmail, just click on these buttons, and then they'll add them to your thing. The reason that we're not focusing too much on the new version of Google Analytics in the courses yet is it's not finished. Most platforms don't even support it. So in the example here, I can go to monetization, and I can look at e-commerce purchases, where I'm able to see, can I see in-app purchases? So it actually, it's showing me some revenue and all of that stuff. This does not work with Shopify. This does not work with WooCommerce. This does not work with Wix or Squarespace or any of that stuff. You need to manually modify the code of your e-commerce store to make Google Analytics 4 work. It doesn't work with anything yet, so like what I've been doing with GA4 is I just put it on my website. So I've got on every single one of my websites, all my clients here, I've got normal Google Analytics and GA4, normal Google Analytics and GA4, normal Google Analytics and GA4. I have Google Analytics for reporting and GA4 when it becomes the standard in a couple of years' time. As well, I started recording today, So the thing with GA4 is it's just not even finished yet. Like, it doesn't even work with most things. In time, and I'll just give you an overview of what it's meant to do. In time, we're able to kind of see differences between our different traffic levels. So if I go to tech overview, I'll be able to see if I've got a mobile app and I've got a website, how many people came from the app, how many people came from the website. But most people don't have an app. So this is like, it's going to be a while before this is in any way useful. At the moment, it's not very useful. there's more data, there's more useful data in normal Google Analytics. Normal Google Analytics is supported by everything. The GA4 isn't. So I'm going to be doing a bit of stuff on it, but it'll be over the next period anyway. You'll start seeing it in the membership section. We'll start doing some GA4 pieces here and there, because it's not, for example, it wouldn't be wise for us to build a course around GA4 because it's not finished yet. So we'd have to change the entire course and do all of that stuff. Whereas we can do membership updates for our DMI members on GA4. So that's probably where you'll start seeing it. And when it finally rolls out properly, and it is being supported by Shopify and Wix and Squarespace and all that stuff, it'll be in the courses. Desiree is saying this: as much as art is science to digital marketing, for sure, it's great help. The nuances of digital marketing audiences is a tricky point. So what I do with my audiences is I look at everything as the starting point of everything we do is, what are we paying? What are we paying the platform? So if it's Facebook, what am I paying Facebook to reach that audience? And what do I get for that, for marketing to that audience? That can be discovered in Google Analytics, for example. So if we're doing, I don't know, if we're doing, where have I got some stuff? Maybe these guys. In Google Analytics, when you tag up your advertising effectively in your acquisition area, in campaigns, in all campaigns, when you use the URL building functionality in Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, we can tag up our data and we can see, right, I spent a bunch of money on LinkedIn, I got 300 visitors, and I got a 3.84 conversion rate. When I sort by my goals, I will see that this ad number 2 is the best one. Actually, ad number 3 is probably the best one because it has the highest conversion rate. So what I'll do is I'll go then back into my LinkedIn, and then I'll invest more in ad 2 and ad 3 in the CX groups than in the members. The members didn't do that well, this CXPA members or whatever. So I use different tracking URLs for my different audiences. What that means is when I'm doing social media, this is a free tool. It's called the URL Builder. So if I'm targeting a particular group to my website, I'd say the source is LinkedIn, it's paid social maybe, or it's Facebook, say it's Facebook. So the source is Facebook, it's paid social. Then whatever I write in here appears over here when I put my campaign live. So I'll go, right, it's Facebook, it's paid social, it's men aged 18 to 45 who are interested in adventure holidays. When I target those people with ads on Facebook, this is their URL. They get this URL. When I'm targeting women, they get a different URL that says women in it. So different URLs for my different audience segments. Then I can understand in my Google Analytics, I look in Facebook and I see I'm after spending 1,000 euro or dollars. For that $1,000, I got 368 unique visitors. A couple of them came back a few times because I got 417 visits, but 368 unique people. I'm then going to invest in my men over my women or whatever, and identifying who does the business. And that's how I decide on audiences. So the advice for beginners is to get started. Discount for the course, I don't know about that, but you can certainly enter. You can certainly enter the competition to win a free digital marketing track. It's by clicking the link in the platform you're currently watching on LinkedIn. In that post, there's a link and you can enter your details and you can win a track. What tools would I suggest for a digital marketer starting out? I always suggest people to go to Google to start out, and this is why most people's most people use Google as an assistant to help them make better decisions. Okay, so this is Google here. We use Google to help us make better decisions. You know, what is the best tool for digital marketers? You know, or even if we just put that in, tools for digital marketers. So best tools. These. So why I'm doing using this as your example here, because what I'm saying is people use Google to help them make decisions. So start typing in, you know, like if you're doing holiday marketing or something, like best holidays in France. So best holidays in France. This is other stuff that people are looking for. So Google gives you an insight into what people are looking for, what they ask the internet for help about. It is a gateway to someone's mind, you know. So I always recommend you literally you start with Google. And here's a tip: if we put in an asterisk here, we get different variations of that. So best holidays in France, France or holiday, you know. So whatever your business is or your clients is, you know, there's a bunch of people out there who buy off your own business or your client's business or whatever it is. They're asking questions because they use Google as an assistant to help them make decisions. What are the questions they're asking? What can you infer? What can you understand about what's important to them? So go to France with dogs, you know, like dogs. So France, so and just kind of, you know, caravan holidays, you know, so whatever, you go on a journey, and what you're trying to do is anticipate the questions people ask Google, because then you get an idea into what their desires, their motivations are, and then kind of go on a bit of a journey. So without using any paid for digital marketing tools, begin with this, you know. Google is rolling out on mobile search an update to this to these predictive searches called People Ask Next. So when people ask this question, what's the next question they ask? So holidays in France with dogs. We can also go, these are more questions that people are asking. These are more things that people are asking. All of this is insights into the minds of your consumers, the desires of your consumers, because they're asking Google for help to make a better decision about whatever it is you sell or do. Then you can go to tools like Moz, or Uber, maybe go to Uber Suggest. So Uber Suggest is a free tool on neilpatel.com, and you can just go holidays in France dogs, you know, and see what happens, and just do a search, and you can sign in and get the Chrome, and you get more results when you sign in and do all that stuff. But it will give you if there's any search volume or anything like that. So it's not giving us lots of ideas here. So there's some more we could go. So Uber Suggest is one, Moz is another, where you can sign up for free and go to free SEO tools and Keyword Explorer, search keywords, and then just go like holidays, France, dogs, and we'll just go to the United States and see what that looks like. Again, another free tool. What we're trying to do, like literally, people are telling Google what they want. They're telling it what they want. We can see those questions. Use those questions to inform you about what their primary motivations are. Because when you know what they want, you can post more interesting content in social media that deals with their pain points, that deals with their motivations, you know, that you can fill your website with the content that you know people are looking for. So when they look, you show up, you know. So we look at see all keyword suggestions. So here's a bunch of stuff here. And how many have I got? 10. So say there's something I like here, like dog-friendly holidays in France. If I press this magnifying glass, it becomes the it becomes the seed term. So now I'm going on a click journey to discover more stuff. I might also change this to our questions, and then I can see, where can I take my holiday and where can I take my dog on holiday? These are the questions people are asking. They're telling you what they want, so that's where I would start. Let me just go to okay, to a manual. So AI has always been the desired feature when it comes to targeting and retargeting. Google voice search, messenger, mail order responders. Look at the future. VR brothers will become display and presentation banners or next e-commerce marketplace, and have virtual. Just no, and that's a good load of predictions. It will be interesting to see how it develops, but it's not going to get rid of the human aspect. We need to understand what our priority products are, how we can use voice search, how we can use VR, how we can use all of these things to harness like all AI does is crunch data. Because so it uses giant data sets that is too big for Microsoft Excel or anything for us to make any kind of predictive analysis. So what AI is doing is effectively crunching lots and lots and lots of data, okay, to help us reach audiences. Our goal is at the starting point of how am I investing in those audiences? But like, there's going to be so many things we're going to have to learn over the next while. Aubrey's helping some local real estate in our website category compete against Zillow. How would you help tiny companies compete for keywords that are highly local and targeted? So people are asking questions. If it's local, you will do better. If it's local, you will do better than the bigger organizations if you're based within that locality. So, the way search works is it's about modifiers. So if it's, I don't know, like houses for sale in Idaho, or houses for sale in the Czech Republic, or wherever it is that you're kind of working, wherever your brokerage is. It's just looking in your area, what are people asking Google, and then what do they want to know? They want to know they're dealing with a local realtor who's going to guide them through the process, use local insights, not be a big, huge, giant company that doesn't give you the kind of service that you want. Certainly, if you're buying something, like a house or an apartment or something, So again, it all goes back to how do people use Google to make decisions? So in your area, put it in the predictive search, in Moz, in Uber Suggest, and other tools that I've shown. Just start typing in, like, first of all, go to your quiet place. Think to yourself, what is my consumer likely to type into Google to find me? What are they typing in to find me? Put that in, and then you'll be able to kind of get an idea of kind of what's on their mind, what are their pain points, and it's kind of develop content with a local feel. Mention the area, mention where you work, because Google will ensure that when people do those local related searches, you will show up ahead of the more generic, countrywide realtor.com or Zillow or something like that. So it's all about when you like keywords just give you ideas for stuff you should write. So these are the questions people are asking Google. So fill your website with the content that answers those questions. So it gives you inspiration for what people are asking Google. Fill your website with the content people are looking for. When you write the paragraphs, write about the local areas, write about the specialty within the field, all of that stuff, because this is the hierarchy of SEO page layout. SEO is search engine optimization. It's basically researching content ideas so your website is filled with the content people are looking for, and then formatting that content in such a way to make it visible to search engines. So this is the way you format the content. Your page title is the most important part of your website. when it comes to SEO that you can control, not backlinks, what you can control. So this is the page title. Dog friendly holidays in France is the page title. This is your page heading. Number one, page title is the most important. Number two, the paragraphs of content on your page is the second most important. Number three, things like your headlines are the third most important. So you include local keywords in your page title based on that keyword research you've done, so your page is more likely to show up. You include local keywords so mention the locality where you're selling in the title. And the most important parts of your paragraphs is the first few words of the opening sentence of your first paragraph is the primary location. So place number one, page title. Place number two, paragraphs. Okay, and most important part of the paragraphs are the first few words of your opening paragraph. Okay, pepper the rest of your paragraphs with different keywords, with different location phrases and different things like that, and you're likely to show up. And then the third is things like your headlines. So when it comes to local SEO, that's important, and that is important. And then things like setting up a Google business profile where you've got a map listing and you can put your map listing on there and all of that stuff. Likewise, you might, if you are doing any realtor stuff, you might have virtual viewings. The biggest search engine in the world, in most of the world, is Google. The second biggest search engine in most of the world is YouTube. So when you name your virtual viewing videos on YouTube, name them after what people search for to find those type of videos. 4-bedroom house in Lower St. Louis, virtual viewing. Name your video after what people search for. This is the name of a YouTube video. I'll show you here. So this is my channel here. Here's a video called How to Use Google Analytics Goal Funnels, because that's what people search for when they want to find the content of this video. When it comes to your realtor friend or your realtor client, when they do virtual viewing videos of their realtor stuff, of the houses or apartments they're trying to sell, make sure the video is called something that someone is likely to search for on YouTube. So you're doing two types of search focuses here. One is your website. Fill it with the content people are looking for about your locality, about your services, all of that stuff. The second is YouTube. Make sure you name your video after what people look for. Make sure you add a description and make sure you add up to 10 tags. So mention the area, mention the size of the place you're selling, mention the type of place you're selling, mention the benefits, mention all of that stuff in the description, in the tags, and in your page title. Just call it something like best 4-bedroom house in downtown Massachusetts. I don't know, wherever it is, and that's what you call your video. Virtual viewing at the end. So again, to remind everyone, you can win a free DMI track by signing up for the competition. It's in the link in your YouTube, and details after helping with the site recommendations there. So we've covered a lot. Are there any final questions, guys? Because my sign off before we go is this year is going to be more stable. Plan for a stable year with some flexibility and contingency that there might be some curveballs. But we know Valentine's Day is going to happen. We know there's probably going to be more of an upswing in summer this year as people are actually allowed to travel, unless something disastrous happens. Back to school is going to happen in September. Cyber Monday and Black Friday are going to happen in November. That is a guarantee. Singles Day, the 11th of November, 1111, the holiday that was created by Jack Ma of Alibaba within the Chinese market, is going to happen. I live in Dublin in Ireland, And Lidl, the local German discount retailer, had Singles Day promotions. Singles Day is it's already infiltrated most of East Asia. It will be in Singapore. It will be in Taiwan. It will be in like parts of India. It will be in Indonesia. Okay. And now it's making its way more over to Western markets too. So wherever you're doing business, Singles Day in 2022 is absolutely going to happen. It happened slightly in 2021 during a pandemic, during like the height of a pandemic. 2022 is going to be a little bit more relaxed. I guarantee Singles Day is going to happen. It's going to go. It's going to be your kind of your extra bump before Black Friday and then Cyber Monday. Black Friday, Cyber Monday are going to be the end of November. Singles Day is going to be the start of November. November will probably be the biggest. Day this year, the month this year for everyone. You know, just because it was so good last year. You know, we have got a sense of normality returning, and yeah, Singles Day is going to happen. So definitely put that in your planning as part of a 3-prong approach to November. Singles Day at the start, Black Friday, and then followed by Cyber Monday 3 days later. So Friday's Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday is obviously the Monday afterwards. They're going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, I just want to remind everyone before I finish up, unless there's any final questions, you can win a free DMI Track, a free 7-hour short course on a specialty subject like e-commerce, PPC, SEO, email, CX, different things like that. You can choose which one you want to do. Just enter your details in the link in the post that you're watching this on, whether it's the YouTube video, whether it's the LinkedIn link, or if you are on Facebook watching it there, and you can win that free 7-hour short course. So certainly give it a go. Right, guys, if there are no final questions, I'm going to finish up in 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Any final questions? No. Okay, guys, we're going to finish up. So let's just call it a day there. So thank you everyone for your time today, and I will see you when I see you. Okay, folks, good luck. Bye. See ya.